My heart is pounding at this point, and I'm trying to figure out what to do.
Imagine walking down the street minding your own business when you turn around and see somebody is following you. At that moment, you decide to walk across to the other street and they proceed to do the same thing. This is exactly what happened to this girl, and this is not just an accusation. This is something that can be proven because the guy himself actually admitted to it.
I noticed a man following me for quite some time, so I pulled out my phone in case anything happened. Every time I stopped walking, he would stop, but then walk by acting like he wasn't.
Now, this could have potentially been a dangerous situation. I really do believe that she let him get a little too close for my comfort. Now, I know this is in broad daylight, but imagine if he had somebody who was trying to help him actually kidnap her. I don't know. And you're gonna find out later that she did attempt to speed up a little bit. But the thing about it is he did the same thing. So if she would have taken off running down the road, he would have potentially done the same thing. And I know hindsight is definitely 2020, but I think there's a lot to be said about a situation like this that a lot of people can actually learn. One, I think she should have called somebody and had them on speakerphone so she could know that somebody is actively listening to what is going on around her. Two, I also think that it was a mistake to stop. I know she wanted to see if he was actually following her or not, so I do understand that a little bit more. But if you got that suspicion, just continue to move on and do your best to find somebody like she actually eventually does.
Notice the other man, let's just call him Joe, with his dog across the street, who is also starting to take notice. My heart is pounding at this point, and I'm trying to figure out what to do. I lock eyes with Joe at this point and decide to get verbal because this man is way too close.
Me? Can you stop? Yeah, what the fuck? Can you stop following me? Okay, this is scary as fuck.
Yeah.
I almost started laughing because when they panned the camera and I saw the word dog, I expected like a German Shepherd or something, or like a Rottweiler, but then we see the cutest dog of all time. All in all, shout out to the bystander for stepping in, and he really didn't have to do much. Just the presence of somebody else being there deterred his actions, whatever they may or may have not been.
He like literally followed me down the block.
Oh yeah, he's definitely doing it now too. Wow. Be careful.
Thank you, sorry about that.
Oh, no.
Oh my gosh, my heart is pounding. I know.
You saw the guy, he was like still turning around as if he was waiting on the bystander to walk away so he can like beam and go in her direction again. Throughout my time watching a lot of internet, I have seen situations that have gotten creepy before, but this is one of the few times where you see something that's so deliberate and the person actually admits to doing the creepy thing. Usually the person who is being creepy stands 10 toes down on the fact that they're not being creepy, and they try to prove that it's the opposite, that you are the one who is being creepy for pointing out their creepy behavior. Now she posted a voiceover kind of breaking down some questions that people had. So let's go ahead and take a look at that.
Hi guys, so I'm gonna repost this video with a voiceover because there are a couple of things that I wanted to address. So for those of you just seeing this, go back and watch the original video. It will explain the situation a little bit more, but I was followed by a man in Los Angeles and it went viral. So the most common comment I got was, "Girl, where's your pepper spray?"
A lot of people don't pay attention. She had it like in the video that she had pepper spray.
And if you go back and watch the video, I had pepper spray. I think a lot of people missed that. The second most common question I got was, "Girl, why didn't you start running?" And it's because every time I would pick up my pace, he would match my pace. So I'm sure if I started running, he would have started running too. Make no mistake though, I feel like I could have easily outrun him had the situation called for it. Another really common comment that I got was, why didn't I pepper spray him?
Now, in her case, this guy was actually following her, as we saw him admit. And even though he admitted to it, he still did not try anything. He just followed her around. He didn't put his hands on her. He didn't actually make a physical charge at her. And he did not get suffocatingly close to her. Is that a word? Suffocatingly? And you can't just pepper spray somebody off of suspicion. You had to be 100% sure that you're using that in self-defense. She didn't have to do anything in terms of self-defense in this situation. Was it creepy? Oh, hell yeah, it was creepy. But it didn't get as far as her having to defend herself.
And it's because while he definitely got too close to me, I don't think the situation called for violence quite yet. If this man had put his hands on me in any way, shape, or form, you best believe I would have smacked the crap out of him. It would have been a hoedown, throwdown. You best believe it. Another frequent comment was, wow, for an independent, strong girl, you sure ran up to a man quickly. This comment came from a lot of guys, and quite frankly, I didn't intentionally run up to a man.
Now, I will say there are situations where women embarrass themselves because they say, oh, I don't need a man, when in actuality, you may need a man for a specific situation. But in this case, I will say that he was just being a cool cat. He was just being a good guy. But you know, trolls are gonna troll. This is the internet.
He was just a kind, good Samaritan who involved himself in the drama. And again, he was just a good human and his sex had nothing to do with it. His dog was a good pup too. The last thing I want to address was my apology to Joe, the Good Samaritan. It was just etiquette. It was just being polite. I potentially endangered his life and I wanted to apologize for that, and that's it.
I think she did a good job breaking everything down in that response video. I'm just glad nothing crazy actually happened, because you just never know nowadays. Somebody could have pulled up in a van, scooped her and Joe up, put them inside of there and took off. Who knows, man? Who knows, man? People are crazy these days and you can never be too safe. You got to make sure that you watch your back at all times. You never know the next person who is watching who could potentially do harm to you. And that goes for both men and women. Make sure you're watching your back out here. People are watching you at all times. Make sure you have your P's and Q's in order. And I know it's hard for people to do that sometimes because you're so busy with life, and sometimes you just have that tunnel vision and you just forget. You lose focus from time to time. But just remember that no matter what situation you're in, you probably need to have an exit strategy. And I remember watching a video where a guy said that his father told him that if you are at a red light or a stop sign or something like that and you're behind another car, make sure that you leave enough space between you and that car in order to make sure that if you have to make an escape, that you can do that. And I think that was fond advice, and I have applied that advice to this very day. Now, I'm not saying that every situation calls for you to fear for your life, but what I am saying is be safe, man. Be safe. Don't go out here being all free and all careless to the point that you lose sight of what can potentially happen to you no matter what is going on. Because I can guarantee you that some people who was in her specific situation probably wouldn't have noticed that that guy was following them. They probably been too busy on TikTok or social media, and if he wanted to, would have just walked up, snatched her up, and threw her in the back of a van or something. Who knows? Be safe out there, man. I'll see y'all in the next video.